Welcome to Plant a Garden TV. How you guys doing today? Well, we in 2026 garden season. Shout out to all the gardeners. Shout out to all the new gardeners out there who trying to do something, who trying to grow something. Blessings to you guys, man. Blessing to you guys. This is not the time not to try to grow something. This is surely not the time. This is the time for us to get busy out here and start growing something. Everything is getting expensive. Everything is getting expensive. Well, for me, I already start preparing. I already start prepping my soil months ahead of time. Behind me here, you can see some ginger that I propagate, and they doing lovely. Oh man, I break this one the top. But they're doing awesome, as you can see, looking healthy. I basically propagate them indoors. And the truth is, some of them is store-bought. Some of these ginger is store-bought, some of them is what I grow. But store-bought ginger, sometimes they can be very hard to propagate. Why? Because what I've learned that when you buy ginger from the store, sorry for that, guys. Yes, when you propagating ginger, buying ginger from the store, something I've learned. Hey, Shanique Williams, how you doing? Oh, all right. You see how they get? Right. You remember when I was propagating them? Look where they are now. Heading for 4 feet tall right at this moment. These ginger heading for 4 feet tall. But why I'm saying this, guys, you want to be ahead of time. And you know what, guys? It's so crazy. You see this window behind me? This is where these things propagate. And did really well. Because now, a big window with lights coming through works wonderful, guys. A big window with lights coming through work wonderful. This is like a magic window right here. This window, anything you put under it, propagate and grows wonderful. We also have, let me see, this is some, you see in this container? This is put, and now bring this out the greenhouse to share with you guys. In this container, we have potato and we have pumpkin also growing in this container. So you want to be ahead of time, guys. You don't want to be waiting until the spring come to now getting out there. Because if that's what you're doing, you're going to be behind time. Or you might have to catch yourself trying to buy starts. And starts can be $6, $5. So to save yourself some money, you ain't got to have an expensive setup. And this is things you got to understand. You don't have to have an expensive setup to create a nursery. One of the most important thing is the room temperature. The room temperature is very important where you're trying to germinate and where you're trying to get your seedling growing. This is very important. Another thing that is important, if you have a window, with light coming in, can be wonderful as well. So shout out to each and every one of you. And I want to know, guys, have you guys been trying to start them seedlings, or you still waiting, or you still wondering, should I start these seedlings now or should I wait? Well, guess what? When you talk about squash, when you talk about pumpkin, these things is really good if you direct sow them. It might be the best thing, but depending on your growing zone, depending on where you're growing, it's best you start them indoors and transplant them, because when you start them indoors, they already germinate, they already start growing. When you transplant them, you make sure you try not to damage their roots so they can continue growing, or instead of have to start regenerating new roots. Because you want to be ahead of time, guys. You want to be ahead of time. Look, my ginger, guys. Look where my ginger reached at this time. And I'm still waiting at least 1 month. I'm still waiting 1 more month before I take these ginger out, and look how far they already reach. I also have okra seedlings, have lots of pepper, all different type of peppers, potato, pumpkin, squash, you name it, guys. This is the time and this is the season. Okay. Sherika Williams say, I have 3 moringa seedling. Any suggestion? Well, moringa is a really tropical plant, right? It's a tropical plant, and if you really want to grow moringa inside, from my experience, you want to make sure the room temperature is above 70 degrees, and you also don't want to water them too much, because sometimes when you water them too much, and a lot of people having this problem, watering their seedlings too much. A lot of people having this problem. Why? Because indoors, when you're dealing with indoors, you're not getting that type of heat. You're not getting that type of sun that drying out the soil. So you really, guys, you really don't want to overwet your soil, because it can cause root rot. These ginger, guys, I maybe wet these maybe like 3 times for the past month and a half. For the past month and a half, I maybe wet these 3 times. So the thing is, you don't want to overwet them. So I think that might be the problem. I think that could be the problem, which it happened in many times, many occasions. These are things I experience. Okay, cold climate zone 7 is so should I keep on a heat mat even after they germinate? Yes, because they still need that temperature, that warmness, because they really is tropical plant. And if you have to do, or if not, just keep them in the room. Just keep them in a room that's warm. One thing you got to understand too, sometimes, not because they drop their leaf, like sometimes you see they growing, and because they drop their leaf, that doesn't mean they're no good anymore. Sometimes the root is still alive. So sometimes, don't just take them and throw them away. Still keep them and put them out in the spring sometime. I've seen it happen many times. Sometimes you think a plant dry up and it no good. And then when you take the pot outside, you realize in the spring, it start coming back. You see, in the spring, springtime is a magical time. And this is where I want people to understand. It's a magical time. It brings plants that sleeping back to life. Plants that sleeping, it brings them back to life. So, many times from my experience, I take up plants in from out the greenhouse that dries down. And I say, these plants ain't good anymore. And this is how I learn. These plants ain't good no more. Take them, just put them out there with no concern, no care. The next thing I see the leaves start, the stalks start to get back green. And it starts, so sometimes don't throw them away. Just put them outside when the weather change and you might just see something different. But for the moringa, it's a tropical plant and it's like, for instance, my moringa plants them. They drop all their leaf. And if you look at the stalk right now, you might believe that, oh, that's no good no more. Throw that away. But no, from the time you take that moringa plant and you put it out in the spring, it just start getting green. So be mindful of that, guys, because sometimes we throw away plants and they still have life in them. So if you're trying to grow ginger, you should already start propagating your ginger. You shouldn't be waiting. If you're trying to grow potato, you should already start propagating your potato. Don't wait until the spring to do that. All right, so the more of these, our potato spring out, is the more plants we get. So once this keeps springing out, is the more plant, which as you can see, they're springing out everywhere. We have a next one here. You see the roots? And guess what? We have this in water. So you could propagate in water. It's not a problem. Hey, Lasha, how you doing, blessing? That burger gone too? No, maybe it ain't gone. Maybe you just need to wait till the spring start and put it outside. Seriously. Sometimes you'll be surprised. Yeah, so potato, sweet potato. You can propagate them in water, which I'll now show you here. You can propagate them in water. And they grow really nice and fast too. You could also propagate them. And now bring this out my greenhouse. Look how beautiful they're looking. You see? You could propagate them in soil too. It's not hard, guys. It's really not hard. You just got to have patience. These are squash. You see these squash? If you notice them, you're going to see how they're tall. They just grow up real tall. What these is actually lacking of right now is some sunlight. These want some light right now. All right, but they now germinate. Now germinate a few days ago. And look how high, tall they get. But these are lack of sunlight now, which I want to give them the sunlight. But guess why I can't? Because they germinate inside. So what I have to do, I have to put them in a shaded area, which I'm going to be doing in a minute. Not in the direct sun, in a shaded area. But as you see, guys, they germinate lovely. But if you notice how they're tall, they're actually looking for the sunlight. They're looking for some type of light. So the soil is good, but what we need now is the sunlight to get them going. This year is store-bought ginger. This is what people, we got to understand too. If you got store-bought ginger, you can propagate them as well. And they works. These are store-bought. Let me see. And there's a lot inside here. Let me see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We already see propagate. We also have a lot more behind there. So if you can do these things for yourself, guys, it can save you a lot of money. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Smash that like button. And thank you for the gift. Thank you so much. Let me see. Shanika said, thanks. My ginger is being shipped to me in July. I see. No, I'm going to have to. Yes. You see, you can't. In the zone that you're in, you surely cannot plant ginger in August. It's surely not going to work. Because ginger love a lot of heat. Ginger love heat. So if you don't get them in the spring at least, don't try to plant them in August. It's not going to be enough time. All right? So most likely you got to overwinter them, meaning start them from indoors. Look at these guys. These doing lovely. Let me show you guys. Let me see. I want to show you guys. You see, guys, this is ginger. All you got to do is put the ginger in some soil. If you buy store-bought ginger, I prefer you soak them overnight, because what does happen if you soak them? Sometimes when you buy them in the store, what happens is they spray them because they don't want them to thing on the shelf, so they spray them. So what we do now, we soak them overnight, the store-bought one. We soak them overnight, and all we do, we put them in some dirt, soil, and if you notice, you see how they sprout right there, and it sprout there, over there again, it's going to be pushing the next one over there. So, and if you look there again, it's going to be pushing. So this going to push 3 different roots. So now what we can do now, since it put 3, we can cut it in 3 pieces. You see? We can cut it and have 3 roots of ginger, which is what's going on inside here. Sorry. What's going on inside here? When in the spring come, when we're ready to transplant, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be pulling them out, and separate them, because we could get, because most of them have at least 3 to 4 eyes on them. So when we pull them out, then we cut off all the eyes and plant them in different areas. You're welcome, sis. You're welcome. Hey, what up, D'Angelo, how you doing, man? Blessing Aya. More months in zone 8. We almost there. Man, I'm telling you, man, God, listen to me. I cannot wait. Yes. So yes, guys, as you can see here, these are ginger, and you want to put these. Oh, all now you can set all kind of seed right now. But when you're talking about ginger, turmeric, thank you, brother, appreciate it. When you're talking about ginger, turmeric, you have to have them going. I think it's in January I start these. January or February. I think it's in January. But why I start them so early? I didn't have to start them so early. But why? Because I want them to be mature. You know, you don't want when you harvest the ginger them still young. You want them to be mature. So it's best for me to say, okay, let's propagate them all. And this is what's going on, guys. Ready to go outside, but I can't, because if I take them outside and there's a cold weather comes along, it's gonna scorch off all the leaf. Then they got to start over from scratch. So when I say from scratch, meaning regenerate new leaf instead of continue growing. And this is what we do to a lot of plants. Even some plants, even when we transplant them, we got to be very careful. Why we got to be careful? Because the root system, if you can prepare your soil, right? If you can prepare your soil and transplant a plant without damaging the root, you'll be surprised the kind of growth and production you get. Most of the time, we damage the root. And when you damage the root of the plant, remember, let me show you this. This is the ginger right here. We're talking, right? Number one, if say for instance you break this off right now, you know what's gonna happen? This ginger have to fight to generate more root. This root, instead of generating more root, is gonna have to regenerate this. So you don't want to damage these roots, these little white roots you see in here. You don't want to damage these, because this is the heart of the plant, the root. So when we transplant and we damage the root, sometimes we put the plant in a shocking situation where it's got to now start to regenerate the same root it already pushed out. That delay, that causes a delay on the growth. Because remember, the more root, the more growth, the more faster the plant grows, the more production. You understand? The more root. So when you transplanting, please try not to damage the root of the plant. Try your best not to damage the root of the plant, because it put it in a shock, in a situation where it have to regenerate these same root when it could have been generating more and just keep growing. These things are very important, guys. These are things that I've learned over the years. Don't damage the root. Be very mindful of that. And don't overwater your plant. Okay, so is there anyone in here who made their own composting? Is there anyone in here who made their own liquid fertilizer? So you can overwinter them once the leaf came up. What do you mean, the ginger? No, well, no, not really. You see, meaning, when I say overwinter, what I mean, try to propagate them during the winter season. You see? We're still in the winter right now, so it's like I propagate them and I basically keeping them indoors. That's almost like overwinter and take them outdoor. When I start to propagate these, I think was January. I think it was January. I start propagating these. January around there. And then I just allow them to grow. So in the spring now, that's when I'm gonna take them out. But right now, I'm keeping them indoors because I remember one year, right? One year, ginger looking like these. I take them out, the weather was so nice, beautiful. Every day the weather is beautiful. And I say, you know what happen? I'm going and take out my ginger then. And then I take out my ginger and them 3 full days of cold weather pass and just catch down everything. Just catch down everything. Then now, the plants now have to regenerate new stock. New stock. Instead of continue growing, you got to fight now to regenerate these new stock and fight to even push more root and fight to get their root system developed. So if you wait until the frost pass and the soil start getting warm and beautiful, so you know when you transplant, you ain't got to worry about the frost again. This is really important, guys, because you don't want to get hold back. Can you make liquid fertilizer with finished compost? If so, how? I mean, listen to me, guys. I make all type of liquid fertilizer, all different type. And all I do, I put them in water, a container of water, and leave them. Sometimes I store it up. I store it up and leave them right there and allow them to break down. Just water. Nothing added, just water. And that works beautiful. So yes, you also can take compost and add in water. And get liquid for yes, because what happened, the water is pulling all the nutrients out of that compost into the water, into the liquid. So when you feed these plants, they're receiving it automatically. You see what I'm saying? They're receiving it automatically. So you want to make sure that it's good to make compost liquid fertilizer. It's good. It's really good because it's like an instant boost to the plant. You know, we could take dry compost and we could put around our plant. And what could happen? It take you to wet it, or it take the rain to come and wet it in order for the plant to get it, because we all know that the plant root cannot eat compost. But guess what? It can suck the liquid. Or when the compost gets wet, it can take that liquid. So, yes, you could make compost tea out of liquid fertilizer, out of your compost tea. Out of your compost, you just add it in water and just leave it there for months. Okay, so, yeah, thank you, bro, thank you. You know, last year, 3 straight years, we grow pepper tree and we break records every year growing pepper tree. 3 straight. The year before was last year we grew a 10-foot Poblano pepper tree, and we're gonna grow a 9-foot bell pepper tree this year too. Guys, you wanna bet me? Is there anyone here today wanna bet me that I grow a 9-foot bell pepper tree? That's how confident I am, guys. That's how confident I am. That's when you know what you're doing, you could be confident. Yes, last year year before we got Poblano pepper 10 feet tall, a pepper tree. The year before that, we grew a bell pepper tree 8 feet tall. The year before that, that's when we really start measuring our pepper tree. Because we realized we're growing bell pepper trees so tall, and we realized now, let's measure these things. So that year the first year since we start measure was 7 feet 4 inches. Then it was an 8-foot bell pepper tree. Then last year it was a 10-foot poblano. Then, no, the year before was a 10-foot poblano. Last year we grew an 8-foot, 9.7 inches bell pepper tree. So we're trying to break that record this year, but we know for sure we're gonna hit that 9 feet mark. And it's a blessing to have this confidence because you know what to do. You know all the steps to make that happen. And how do you know these things? By experience, knowing what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And I'm telling you, we're going to be doing that this year. We're going to be doing that this year. So we just want to encourage you guys, man. Okay, real deal knowledge. I see your progress on that paper. Exactly. And guess what? We're going to do a lot of planting very soon. And we're going to do a lot of them live session. Planting. Because we love to, you see, I'm not one of the people who just talk about things and then at the same time there's no result to say, okay, wow, this thing worked. No, I'm not one of these people. So what I do live stream showing how I plant them, how I take care of them, what I put on around them, when I put it around them. Then to the end of the garden season, we show the result when we start harvest. This channel is a fully organic channel. We don't use no chemical at all, nothing. We focus on what nature provide, and many times we underestimate the power of nature. We underestimate all the things that nature provides. We throw them in the garbage, we throw them away, we throw them in a heap. Instead of we use them. We throw them away. Instead of we use them, we throw them away. And what thing? We run to the store and we go and we buy. We have the real thing. But because of the mindset, we have the real thing right in our yard, and we throw it in the garbage and we go and buy something. Well, I can't tell you guys what to do, but I don't spend any money. Like this year, I ain't spent a dime. And you want to see my garden. And I did not spend $1. But I produced a full productive garden. So, like these ginger, most of these ginger I grow. These are ginger that I grow. Here is some ginger I get from a guy, which is store-bought. But I personally, I set in my own seed. I'm not trying to buy a plant for $7. I'm not trying to do that. But we throw away the good soil we have, and we go and buy something different. Let me tell you something. A lot of this soil, I don't know if you guys pay attention. A lot of this soil, when put them in your greenhouse, or you bring them in your garage or wherever, you see all kind of flies coming out of the soil, all different, you see fly popping out the soil. When I scrape up soil out my garden, or I scrape up a rotten tree trunk, you don't see this type of stuff. All different type of bugs flying around. Guys, listen to me. Pay attention, guys. We love to grow what we eat. That's right. Hey, I'm super excited for this growing season. I will be setting up compost tea with rainwater. That's right. With rainwater, that's right. But that's the best compost tea you could ever have. Rainwater. Because you know that rainwater, it don't have that things that they put inside of the water to, when they say purify the water. It don't have that. So rainwater, even your seedlings, when you have your seedlings, you make sure you catch rainwater that you can wet them, because it starts from your seedlings. And guys, training your seeds, training your seedlings is important. I'm telling you. Where I grow my food, I do not water my plants then. There's a method I use and it works perfectly. It does not require me to be watering my plant constantly. No, watch here. These already programmed. These ginger program to not get in wet. Not too much water. You see what I'm saying? So when you put them out there, them still gonna survive. They're gonna survive because they're used to growing without not too much water. You see what I'm saying? So now, if I'm dealing with a drought situation, these plants still gonna survive. And I showed live session last year showing the proof. We had a drought. A matter of fact, every year I deal with a drought. But it never stopped the production of my plants. Because there's something I love to do. I call it programming your seedlings or programming your seeds to, you want to have them in a condition indoors that you're not giving them everything they need. You want to be fighters. You want to be striving off of what they got, not looking for certain things that you got to run to the store and tell yourself you're feeding your plant. No. Feed them with organic matter. These plants really love organic matter. These plants. Just observe, go through the forest, go through the trees, and see what's in there underground. The most you see in organic matter, and then guess what? Organic matter draws the beneficial insect and parasite we need in our garden. So where do we start? We start from organic matter. That's where we start. We start from organic matter. And when we start from organic matter, that is what draws the earthworm and all that beneficial insect that's in our soil. Why you think under the forest is so rich? Look how much organic matter laying on that ground. But guess what? That draws all the earthworms. So start there. And I guarantee you, if you start there, you're going to see big progress in your garden. I guarantee you. You see, Googling information. Nothing wrong with Google information. Googling information, you also got to be careful of Googling information on gardening, because the next thing you're going to be seeing, there's thousands of people post different information, and it could confuse you because there's so much information. I think your best teacher is in your garden. I think your best teacher is your soil. All right? That's where you learn, in your garden, in your zone. Learn and study your zone, study your plants. That's where you get production. Googling, yes, you could get a lot of information, but sometimes it's just too much. So start from scratch and apply your knowledge and learn. Every day you learn, even though you got to write down something that you can remember. It's a blessing. So I just want to say, guys, thank you all for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have a blessed and wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get the notification every time we go live. All right? Yes, people. That's right. That's right, brother. People tell a lot of lies on the internet talking about information. So peace and love and blessing each and every one. You guys have a blessed day. Peace.